Have you ever wondered what it would be like to work your dream job in high school? Well, I did, and over this past summer, that dream became a reality. This past summer, I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to be an engineering intern for a local company called Elmar Industries. No, I don't mean engineering like driving a train. During my internship, I got a taste of what it is like to be a mechanical engineer. And for those of you that don't know, a mechanical engineer is someone who designs technology to be created. At Elmar Industries, they create machines that fill anything from a jar of salsa to a container of peanuts. During my internship, they started construction for a new renovation, and much like this renovation, I would become a lot better than before. My day began with a quick drive to Elmar Industries, and I actually couldn't park near the engineering offices because there wasn't enough space with the renovation. But luckily, it was summer and it was nice out, so the walk-in was always refreshing. And after saying hello to our receptionist Nancy, I met up with Joe, my supervisor, and Mark, my boss. Then I would get a quick rundown of what I needed to do for the day and ask them any questions I had about projects. I began to get to work in my little office. It was very nice to have a space to myself to work on projects, and most of my work was done here. Here is where I would draw up the blueprints for the parts on the computer, and then I would send them to the printer, which was close by, so I didn't have to use much energy to get there. From here, I would give the prints to Joe, who would review them and make sure I didn't make any errors. After that, I would send the computer file to a shared folder between everyone in the company. My job was to draw up blueprints for those parts on the computer and create 3D models of the parts so the other engineers could test them in various machines or products. First, I had to learn how to use the programs, which sounds kind of ridiculous, but it was very different from the ones we learned about in school, and they were much more complex. My day started with creating a drawing or a blueprint for a part and then printing it out. Then I would take it to Joe, who usually took about 3 seconds before pulling out his red pen as he corrected my errors, which was a lot of errors at the beginning because I was not at all familiar with the common engineering standards. And after being humbled by my supervisor Joe's seemingly endless corrections on my first couple drawings, I started to get the hang of it. Then, by the end of my second week, I was more confident in my ability to do drawings for them. As time went on, I did get smarter and faster while doing these drawings, and I even got to work on drawings the company would send to clients for big projects, which was one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever done. And now, Joe and I look back at those early drawings and make jokes about them to this day. Joe and the other engineers had taught me much more about engineering than just math and sitting in an air-conditioned office all day, although being cold on a hot summer day was a great benefit. The neat thing about Elmar Industries is that unlike most engineering firms, the production plant is connected to the office. So whenever I would get stuck, Joe would tell me where the part I was working on was in the shop, and I would go and look at it myself. I even got to see an actual product get tested while in the production shop. Not only that, but I learned how to use two of the most widely used softwares in college and in the real world. This internship was one of the best experiences I could have ever had and has only reaffirmed my drive to become a mechanical engineer as the days flew by while I was working. Even the day when I was redoing the files in the filing cabinet because the computers were downward was interesting. Not because I liked sorting, but those files held old paper drawings dated back to the late 1980s. And just when I thought things couldn't get any better, on my last day, they asked me to come work for Elmar Industries. So now as a high school senior, I not only have experience in my career field, but a part-time job working at an engineering firm, continuing on the work from my internship. I would personally like to thank Mr. Dixon and the Academy of Finance for giving me the skills I needed to be an intern, and for Joe who put up with my seemingly endless questions. And to Elmar Industries for not only giving me the experience of a lifetime, but for inviting me back to work for them during high school and later college.